Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Happy Monday everyone. Yes, Monday again, so it does mean we do have the Mallard. And after last week's really exciting issue with the paint going onto the engine for the first time, not so exciting this week, doing a couple more links for the coupling rods. Not very much to build at all, but we are going to be putting the decals on the cab body. So let's get into it. Let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop, tools in the light, screws and glue, they're holding it tight. Piece by piece, it's a builder's delight, making dreams in the still of the night. Let's get into it, let's get building now. Put it all together, I'll show you how. Screw by screw and a little glue too. Welcome to the workshop, it's waiting for you.
Right, so issue 101 of the Mallard, and as you can see, we've just got a small plate of parts, so not a great deal to do. What I'll probably do is I'll probably do the decals first and then do the building afterwards. We're basically working on the same part between these two, so we bundle them together. Basically, as you can see, we're just adding a part to the side of the chassis, and then we've got a couple of bits that we need to sandwich together. Got another piece that we need to group together. We need to drill out a tap or a thread. Now it's asking for a 12 BA tap. I don't actually have a 12 BA tap. The closest I've got is probably an M1. So I'm going to try that and see if it works. Hopefully it will. And if not, the screw will hopefully make up any difference. If this was a running model, then I'd probably worry a little bit more, but it should be fine. And then we'll move on to the decals. Basically, we're not doing anything with the parts we're basically assembling. We're just leaving them to one side, and then we've got the decals. So as you can see, front and side decals. And then we've got the Mallard story. And we've got Britain's Railways. We'll also move on with issue 102 as well. And I'll show you what we've got in here. So we've got mechanical lubricators. We've got a couple of little basic boxes, as you can see. And then we've got some screws and some nuts. And this is where you need to clean those parts up. We actually do need to test fit them, but then paint them. So what I'll do is I'll probably paint them off camera, and then the next time you see the engine, they'll be painted. Basically, we just need to paint them black and then pop them back in there, and then glue them in place. So not a great deal there to do. Then we've got to get the bits that we've just prepared from issue 101. And as you can see, we're looking at linking them all together like that. Once they're linked together, we've got to do a bit of a test fit, check that it works, and then take it off the chassis again. And as you can see, just fitting those two boxes as well. Got classic locomotives and Great Railway Journeys. Right, so I've done that decal and the one at the front. Now, it would have been impossible to show you the one at the front actually doing it, because it was a bit of a pain to do. But I've had to cut round this little lamp holder and this piece at the front here. But what I will do is show you one, because you probably wouldn't want me to show you 3 times in a row the exact same thing. So all I've got in here, just some water. I've got a clean paintbrush, and I've got some micro set. This is M1, and this is how I do it. Might not be the same as everyone else, but this is how I find that it's worked in the past. So all I'm doing, just painting on a nice lot of micro set. Well, that's obviously soaking in the water. Pull that one out, just give it a little test wiggle. Yep, that's ready to come off. So just going to get it so that it's partly off. get it roughly in place and slide the paper from underneath it. Now, with a micro set there, it makes it a little bit easier to maneuver it around, as you can see. So I think that's a pretty good position. So all I'm going to do is just hold one end of the decal whilst using a bit of blue roll, paper towel, whatever you like, just to squeegee out a little bit of the excess water and the micro set, like so. Now you saw that come up on my finger, so we know obviously it's not going to be set in place at the moment. So I'm just going to dampen my thumb, hold that bit in place, and do the exact same thing and squeegee out the rest of that water and the micro set. And obviously this allows you to press down the decal as well to get rid of any creases, etc. And that is what you end up with. Now, obviously not too worried about it obviously being glossy and shiny at the minute, because the whole engine, including the decals, are going to have a clear coat over the top. So that's what that is looking like. So it's got a decal, it's got a number on there, and on the front now, which is looking really, really good. So I'm just going to put the body to one side, and the decals can go off fully. And so with those decals now in place and drying, we can concentrate on this piece here. Now, pretty much all of the holes you see need a 1mm hole, with the exception of this one and this one, which need a 1.1, and we're not being asked to drill that one at all. But pretty much all the others, this one, these two, and these three, all need a 1mm drill. So that's what I'll do now. That's assuming that they're not already 1mm, which doesn't look like it. So as I've done before, just sacrificial bit of wood. And you'll notice that I'm using the 1mm drill at the moment and not the 1.1. So as I said to you before, always start with your smallest drill, and then work your way up. And that way you're less likely to have a problem with drilling the wrong hole. Right, so that's all the holes drilled. So as I said, all 1mm, with the exception of this one and this one, which is a 1.1. Now I'm going to cut all these pieces out and get them glued together. And as usual, just give them a clean up from the sprue. And we're interested in this side of the engine, and we're just going to test fit that in there. And that fits pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it goes. Yep, it does go that way. So all I'm going to do is put it through this plate, like so. Go apply some glue to that, and then we'll put it back in place. Now, just a reminder, obviously, I've painted this ahead of when we should have done. So, with any luck, this will stay adhered to the paint, and obviously a little bit of the internal part of this that paint really wouldn't have got into. Again, if it was a running model, then I'd be a bit more worried about it falling off or something like that. But as I say, static model, so it should be absolutely fine. So with that in place, we need these two small pieces. And then we basically need to sandwich these together and then glue them. Now, we've got one that doesn't seem to have any detail on whatsoever, but we do have one that does have some detail. Obviously, detail side facing upwards. We just need to try and get those two lined up, and then we'll get some glue on them. Now, I realise being so small, you can probably barely see this, but I'm just going to use my pliers, try and get the holes lined up best I can. And then once I'm happy, I'll just run some glue around the edge, and then I'll file this and clean up the edges at the end. Right, so I'm just going to let that piece dry, and then I'll clean up the edge around that. Whilst that's drying, I'm going to take out this piece, and this little detail piece. Now, when it comes to doing the detail piece on this, it's pretty much just match up the shape. It's not quite a symmetrical shape. Again, just got to try and line up that hole that's in the middle there. And then I'm just going to hold it with a pair of pliers. And then we'll get it glued in place. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. There's one final thing we need to do, which is in this part. We need to use our 12BA tap to basically tap a thread into this. Now, as I said, closest I've got is a 1mm. So I'm just going to go with that for now. And then hopefully the screw will do the rest. And with that thread tapped, that is now all there is to do in that stage. Right, so moving on to the next issue, we're going to need the rest of the parts from this. So we'll just cut these out, with the exception of that one, because that'll be for the other side. But we will need these parts. So that's only one part left, and we'll leave that to one side. So just cleaned up those parts. As I said, we've got these two boxes here. Not going to do anything with them right this second. Basically, just need to paint them and put them onto the engine. So I'll do that off camera because it is just a case of painting them black. Nothing too special. What we are interested in are the nuts and the screws. We've got 4 nuts, it looks like, and only 3 screws, so there must be a difference with those. Right, so with this piece basically face up, we need to take 2 of our screws and pop them through the hole. Now, you remember I said we weren't told to drill this hole? Well, I think we were meant to, because that screw doesn't fit. And the fact that we drilled the other one sort of suggests that this should also be the same size. So I'm just going to drill those, make sure the hole is all the way through. And with that drilled, hopefully this screw will now fit through nicely like that from the front. We need to take a second one of our screws and pop it through this end. Now that they're like that, we're just going to flip it over with the 2 screws facing up like so. Now I just have it this way around. going to take this piece, and that's going to go on this end. Just try and make sure I get it the right around. Which looks to be this way around. So we've got this little nodule on the end there, and that's going to be facing outwards. So make sure that gets pushed all the way down. So with that one on there, the non-threaded end on this one, and with the detail facing up, we're going to put that on there. So we need to get 2 of the nuts that we have, and we need to screw those on the ends of here. So this is a final fitting of this. So we have been asked to glue these. And we've obviously been asked to not tighten them all the way, because this does need to be able to move. Now, these screws are far too small for the rarer screwdrivers, so I've gone and reached my iFixit kit. Basically got the smallest head, flathead screwdriver I've got in the kit. Right, so hopefully you can see that that is now done up, but they are still loose, as you can see. So I'm going to put a very small amount of glue onto the end of the nuts there, and that'll hold them in place so they don't come apart. With the last screw and one of the remaining 2 nuts, we need to basically put it onto this piece here. Now, this is symmetrical, so there is no right or wrong side. Basically, the screw is going to go right through that hole, like so, and then the nut is going on the end. We're going to tighten that fully in place and then also glue it. Right, so we have that screw and nut in there. Now I just need to glue that one. That one is tightened fully so it doesn't rotate. So that's glued in place. And then we're actually going to be adding that piece to the chassis. And we're going to be adding it to the little bracket that we've got here. So with the threaded part of the screw facing out, that's just going to go and sit like so. And you just need to make sure that's hopefully square in both directions. That looks pretty good to me. Now that that's partly in, I'm just going to run a little bit of glue down the back edge here. And same on this side. I'll just ensure that it's nice and secure. And then basically the last thing we need to do is do a bit of a trial fit. So this piece that we put that thread in earlier, that actually needs to attach to this pivot point. Right, so test fitting this now. I have cheated a little bit, and I've basically just used the screw that was on there to try and basically force this tap into a matching thread, and it has worked to a degree. So basically just screwing this onto here, you notice I've put the coupling rod on there now. So I've just got that loosely screwed onto that one. This one is now going over the top of that little plate there. We are asked to put the nut on there as well. but they were asked to take it off again. So I'm just going to leave the nut off there, do a test fit with the body, make sure none of this fouls against it, and then that'll be the end of the stage. So let me just grab the body. Now, obviously, for the last video, I did put the bogey wheels on as well. Again, a little bit of ahead of where we are. And so just slide those front section in. And as you can see, that piece fits in there absolutely perfectly. So happy with that. And as I say, that is all there is to do in that stage. But that is how Mallard is now looking. I have to say, it looks pretty fantastic. I think I'm just going to leave the body on the chassis for a minute. But almost, to all intents and purposes, that's almost complete. Obviously, we've got the piping and striping to do on the front there. And then I think it is just the striping, and then this is ready for clear coat. Oh, actually, no, we got to do the cab windows as well. So cab windows, although to be fair, actually, the cab windows probably come after clear coat, because obviously we don't want to clear coat windows. So I think it is going to be stripes, clear coat, job done. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below and give us a massive thumbs up. So that's Mallard done for another week, and have to say, looking absolutely fantastic. So with the decals on there now, it does look really, really good. And obviously those red wheels are brilliant as well. Certainly the right period red, I believe. Since the last time you saw it, you probably wouldn't have noticed that I've put the whistle on there as well. So I've painted that brass and put the whistle on there. And those boxes, they just need to sit into that section just there. So I'll paint those black and get those in place as well. But that is it for the week. It looks absolutely fantastic. Just putting the paint on there has really hit a good milestone for this. Not sure what we're doing next week, haven't looked yet. I know at some point we're going back to the tender. Obviously the tender is certainly looking now, it's falling behind a little bit based on the engine there, but still looks absolutely fantastic. I know we've got a little bit more to do with the firebox, etc., and the details within. So I've painted that all up as well. I don't think I've painted that up fully since the last time you saw it on the previous video, but yeah, I think that's the only things I've done in the week since you last saw this. But obviously, if you want to see more of how this progresses or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please do remember to hit the subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications. That way you won't miss out on future videos. Also, speaking of future videos, I do want to improve the quality of the videos that I do for you guys. With that in mind, you'll find in the description there is a link for a GoFundMe. Now, I'm hoping to potentially upgrade my current aging laptop so that I can do better live streams and also better recording streams as well. So please do check that out as well, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.